So, there is something so simple here, and it is yourself. It is your true nature. It is the being that you are. So simple, so natural, so whole, right here underneath all that is playing on the surface as life. There is who you truly are, undone of story, stripped of story, stripped of the conditioning and protection and defense. Who you are, undefended, unedited, unguarded. Who you are is love. Love is what is here when all protection and defense has been stripped, when all of the story has been stripped. What remains is love. What remains is yourself, utterly simple. Not needing anything, not wanting anything, without desire. Not needing anything to make you whole, not needing anything to fill your life up, not needing to create a life for me that looks like this or that, but a fullness, a simple fullness in your own nature. That the truth is the richest riches. That the truth itself is everything that could ever be wanted. And when you truly know this truth that you are, could even say when you truly only long for this truth that you are, there is no merit in things. There is no value in things. The pull of the life is just to simplify, 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 not to complicate, complicate, accumulate, right? This truth is all that's desired, and it takes for it to be all that is desired. Then it is about the simplicity of just being. It's not that life does not play out. Of course it does. Of course. And the mind cannot imagine how that happens. It is to come to the longing. It is to come to the longing, to find out what you are truly longing for in this moment. Could say, wow, you're asking that question a lot. But you know, at one point when this question gets asked, you might just fall in to the true longing of every heart. You might just find the honesty. You might just find a surprise in your heart when you ask the question again and again inside, what are you truly longing for? There can be incredible revelation, even in the honesty to say, well, actually, what I'm longing for is a big fat check. What I'm longing for is a vacation, right? It's to find an honesty that if you're not longing for God, then God will seem to not be looking for you, even though God is always longing for every part of God to know God. But it's to recognize that if that direct line does not get set up and cleared, if you're not calling out for God, if you're not calling out to know yourself, then it will seem evasive, right? You could listen to a gazillion satsangs and read every scripture. But if the longing of the heart is not all the way through, then it will seem evasive, and the mind will project that lack of commitment and sincerity onto things, whereas the only place that a lack of commitment and sincerity is in your own heart, right? And it takes honesty within, like a real deep, radical honesty within, to admit this to yourself. No one is judging. No one has any opinion. There is no one else. It's all an internal process. So the pointing that comes here is your own heart speaking to you. It's your own self saying, what are you truly longing for? In which direction are you looking? Are you looking to fill the life of the me with more things? Are you looking to fill the life with all sorts of activities and more experiences? Or are you looking for God? Are you looking to empty? What is it that you are longing for? Because just to find this clarity within is the greatest support. It's the greatest support in being wholehearted, in being truly wholehearted. Because half-heartedness cannot reach the glory. Half-heartedness will not discover the God nature that is yourself. This is the truth. Everyone has a different way, a different, let's say, a different load to unpack. Right? So there's a unique unfolding that is the offloading of conditioning, the offloading of habit, the offloading of all that creates the sense of separation. That is completely unique. But the truth is one. This moment here now is one. The presence of being, the self, is one. The simplicity is the nature of that one. The more that you come to the self, the more that you come to the being, you are not likely to get more complicated. And if you are, it is just to watch what is happening to make the life more complicated here. How is distraction coming in? What you can be sure of as you come deeper in is that there is a simplifying of life. And it's not a doing, it's a naturalness. And it's a naturalness because you are just not drawn and interested by worldly desire. It just holds no value and no merit. It just holds no appeal in the way that things and experiences once did. So there's a naturalness to simplicity coming forward. And what you can be sure of is that life will change. Life will change. How could it not? You see, this is where the caterpillar wants to be a butterfly, but the caterpillar wants to still remain a caterpillar and be a butterfly. You see, it's not possible. If you truly long to be a butterfly, you have to surrender caterpillar status. You have to surrender personhood into God, into the truth of who you are. But of course, this is not a doing. This is not a doing, and this is not a choosing. So of course, that in itself is confusing for the mind. But if I cannot do it and I cannot choose it, then am I not just okay to be here, just being a caterpillar? Yes. But what we are pointing to is to bring alive the longing that is inside every heart, to bring alive the knowing that is inside every heart, to recognize the truth that is inside every heart. Because perhaps this moment is your moment. Perhaps this moment is the moment that you remember. Perhaps this moment is the moment that you feel the fire of your longing in a way that you haven't felt it before. Perhaps this moment is the moment that that whisper inside suddenly has such a clarity and such a ring that you hear the voice of your true being calling. Perhaps this moment is the moment that the light shines upon the ways that you're creating distraction, where you are deluding yourself. Perhaps this moment is the moment that you see just another thread of conditioning more clearly than you have seen it before, allowing it to unravel. And as that thread unravels, that clarity brings a greater light that dawns into a deeper remembering. You see, this moment, it's always now. And this moment here now is always the greatest possibility to be the moment that you remember who you are. So we do not project into the future. Well, for now, I'll just busy myself with filling my life with fanciful things and making my life kind of rich and gorgeous for me. And in the future, I'll remember who I am. It doesn't work like that. It is to see who you are. There is not a moment of this precious life to waste, because you might think, well, I've got another 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It will happen at some point, but you don't know that. And the preciousness of a human life is that it is an offering for you to realize your true nature. This is what you are here for. The mind does not get that. Of course, the mind does not get that. The mind is perplexed about what this life is for. And while it is being perplexed, it fills itself full of fanciful dreams and gathers and accumulates things and experiences that give the me more validation and perpetuate the illusion of separation. So as these words come, every being will hear them differently. Every being will be stirred in a different way because of the uniqueness. But still, these words are the words of your heart. These are the words of your very own self. How is that possible, that these words are speaking to every being simultaneously and saying exactly what each being needs to hear, whether it feels illuminating or stirring, right? But this is how it works. This is how it works. Because the words go through layers of interpretation. They touch the raw nerves. They stir the heart of devotion where there is openness. They ignite the fire. They enliven the silence. They bring forward the richness of stillness. They reveal the deep peace that is not touched. they also bring forward the triggers. They bring forward the ego wanting to have a little joust about that, right? They bring forward exactly what is needed, right? So in this moment, it's not even to try to push away, oh, I came to satsang to be peaceful, and now I'm all stirred up. So be stirred up. Be right here and meet being stirred up. Meet what it feels like to feel like whatever is stirred up is right here in your face, and it's not what you came here for. Be here with that, right? That is the grace of this moment. The grace of this moment is to let go of all ideas of creating moods. It's to let go of all ideas of creating what I want satsang to be and receive what satsang is, even if it's a right big poke in the ego, right? So what are you longing for? What is your truth? Are you willing to hear the voice of your heart? Are you willing to be honest with yourself? Because honesty, truth, let's say, starts with an honesty with yourself, a willingness to be honest, to recognize, well, actually, I say that I'm longing for this, but I spend my life in distraction. So that's a mixed message to God, right? It's not like a direct, God, dear God, all I want is to know you. All I want is to be you, to be one with you. Please make it be true in this life. Make it be true now. With everything that I can give you. Yours sincerely, Fred, right? What does your letter say? Right? Let's be honest. Well, the thing is, God, that I'm kind of interested, but I got all this stuff going on in my life, and I'm thinking of you here and there. It's to be truthful, with yourself, because this is between you and God is your true self, right? We're speaking about you and yourself, you and your true nature. What are you telling yourself? What are you telling yourself? Who are you making responsible? Where are you making projections? Where are you putting blame? How willing are you to be honest with yourself? How willing are you to be honest with your own heart? Because the truth of every heart is the longing for freedom. And it is all of these overlays that get given priority. Because the mind says, well, that's all very well, but if I give everything to God and I make God my focus, then how am I going to make a living? What am I going to do? What are my friends going to think? Right? And so it's just to see, because the mind can't imagine. The mind cannot imagine. So everyone has a unique unfolding, and you can only be true to that unique unfolding. And there is a truth of hearing what is going on in your inner world. Is the voice of your heart and the words that come out of your mouth in complete alignment? Is the voice of your heart what you think and what comes out in expression in complete alignment? If it's not, then there's something to take a look at, right? Because when you are resting, there is complete alignment in what is the voice of your heart, is what is expressed, and it's what spins around your head, right? It's all the same when you are in alignment. The mind cannot imagine how this all works, because the mind is just a small functioning part of consciousness. Not everyone is ready, right? It's not everyone's divine moment. But this is where, if it is to be your divine moment, where are you going to be in the divine moment? Where will you be? Will you be here now, saying yes to truth? Or will you be over there, filling your basket with more things to make my life a richer experience, right? It's not that experience doesn't unfold, but experience that comes from the naturalness of spontaneity that's just happening is very different to the me creating and distracting and being immersed. And it's to come to discern, to have this radical honesty, to be able to discern what is true here, what is truly just happening, and where am I distracted, and where am I creating from that distraction. The creation from distraction is conditioning, it's habit, it's what has been learned, and it's playing into like societal ideas. This is how life should be. These are the things you need. These are the things you have to do. Who are you conforming with? Who are you looking to for validation? Who are you looking to for love and affirmation? Just to see, just to be aware. So right here, there is something so simple. It is the being. It is the being, and the being is full and rich and whole. The being is love. The being is truth. The being is the self. It is who you are in your naturalness. It is who you are undone. It is who you are without a story, without layers and layers of stuff that feels important to the me, but has no value or worth to the being. So to come to the longing, to come to the true longing of the heart, sometimes just these kind of words just reorient the attention. Just bring a focus, just bring a remembering of what the longing is truly for. We could say, on the surface of life, this process of refining and refining is constant work. It is. It's constant work. Because it's constant attention and it's constantly watching. But it's constantly watching as the aware being that is true. You watch and you watch and you watch. And to start with, it feels like effort. It feels like work. But at some point, the effort becomes an effortless abiding in the simple truth of who you are. Effort pays off and lands you in effortless, choiceless knowing of who you are. To be here now as the being that is just here. The simple felt sense of existence, the felt sense I am, before the first thought, before everything, before everything you are. And this is the simplicity, this is the naturalness. To fall back and back and back and in and in and in, before everything, everything, before everything is love, before everything is truth, before everything is nothing. It's an openness that just is. So to be here now, to come to this moment so fully as the presence, to feel the longing that is the aliveness of the heart, to be the openness that welcomes everything. It's not about creating or imagining anything. It's the openness that welcomes everything just as it is. This moment, just as it is. Whatever is here, it's welcome here. Whatever is happening here now. And somehow there is perfection. Satsang will bring forward the remembering of who you are. And Satsang will bring forward anything that is unconscious in the field in order to clear the obscurations. That is part of the grace. So welcome it all equally. Welcome it all. Nothing is personal. All of life is utterly impersonal. There's nothing that is personal. There is a unique unfolding, but it is not personal. Consciousness flows on the surface of life as qualities, we could say as laws of nature. And every being is made up of a cocktail, a unique configuration of laws of nature. And the laws of nature will determine how you are, what you are like, and how life plays out. We are here to live on the surface of life in such utter simplicity that the laws of nature can flow unimpeded, unimpeded by patterns of conditioning, patterns of consciousness that create protection and defense. And so life dances in order for these patterns to get refined and cleared, to be illuminated. But none of that is personal, even though where there is belief in personhood, as in, I am a person, I am the mind-body, even though it feels to the mind-body person that everything is personal, we're here to remember the impersonal nature of it all. That you are here to dance a unique dance, but the whole dance is in itself a service. And that service is not personal for anyone. We could say that it is in service to the divine, for the divine, to bring the divine to the surface of life, and in that, for the upliftment of humanity. So to awaken to your true nature and live your true nature is the greatest service for the upliftment of humanity. And of course, humanity is an expression of divinity. That is why it is not to attend to the surface of life. It is to attend to your own inner knowing of your true nature. It is to attend to the divine, to attend to the divine and uplift the knowing within your own nature, to be living the purity of your immaculate nature, and to bring that to the surface as the light, as the love of the divine. This is the greatest service to humanity. You see, if the focus is upon humanity, the focus is upon the play, and we cannot fix the play in the play because it's just in your mind. It's your unique perception of these flows of consciousness. The only way to affect what is seen to be out here is to get right in to your inner world, right in to the being, right in to the innermost being, and live the awakeness of your true nature and courageously live it on the surface of life. So when we speak about courageously living it on the surface of life, we speak about not living in the closet, my secret life, my secret awakened life, my secret awakening life, and then you're carrying on the surface, playing out personhood, because you don't want to upset anyone by telling them. You don't want to upset anyone by telling them that you actually have awakened to true nature and you're not a person. You don't want to tell your family because they might think you're nuts, right? But this is what we speak about. It's not that you have to make any declarations on the surface, but it is to be very, very aware of, are you living this truth, or are you fitting in to roles? Are you trying to be what seeming others want you to be? Right? It can feel tricky. It can feel like you meet some edges here. And again, it's not about making declarations, but can you let that true voice of the heart be the expression that comes tumbling from your mouth? Can you let the truth of who you are be who you are expressing as in the world, right? It's just to be aware. Where do you try to fit in? Where do you not quite express the truth? Because the mind says, well, you better not say that, or you better do it this way, or what if, you know? Again, it's just to use what is being spoken to have an awareness, right? Are you living this truth inside and then maybe socializing and then playing out, oh, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, let's all have a joke about all these worldly things, right? And just really getting involved in the gossip, and let's talk about, you know, all of the drama of the world and get into some meaty discussions, right? And are you leaving yourself in those conversations? Are you leaving truth? Are you leaving God? It's just to be aware, right? It's just to be aware. What are you longing for? And where are you fully in alignment with that? And where are you not? Right? You know, no one is watching you but your own self. No one is marking your book, right? You're not getting away with anything because it's all your unfolding. So these words come to invite a deeper possibility of greater clarity and more smoothness and more simplicity. So this is where we speak of, you know, life changes. Life changes as you say yes to truth, because the conditioning falls away. Your old ways of being fall away. You cannot expect that life will be exactly the same. It won't. Things will get stirred. Relationships will change. But it's again also not the way your mind imagines, right? Because the mind says, oh my God, hang on. I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose my job. It's like, no, 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 no. That's the mind's fear, right? That's the mind's imagining. When you live your true nature as love, when you stand firmly rooted in yourself, you are offering the light of this truth to all the beings around you. You can love everyone that you love more because you are unguarded and you are open, and you can meet them. You can meet them in the openness of truth. You can hold space when they get upset because you're not behaving the way they want you to, right? You can hold a space because when you are rooted in truth, one truth is true for all beings. One truth is the truth. And when you are rooted in truth, that truth is true for all. And that is the service. That is the great service. Buffing egos is not the service we are here for. And so it is just to watch. Where are you buffing egos? Where are you buttering the muffins of your companions by trying to be kind? Ooh, I'll butter your muffin here and I'll make you feel good. Where are you buffing egos? Where are you making others feel comfortable to make yourself feel comfortable, right? So it's to watch these patterns, they're protections, right? It's not that everything is going to dismantle all in one go. It's not. But as you live as the aware being, you are aware of, and you start to notice. And again, it's not about, oh, okay, I've got to make a list and then I've got to make all these calls. No. Shine the light. Just shine the light of awareness. As you shine the light of awareness and you feel a depth of your resting in what is true, you know, your behavior will start to move from the being. This is what we speak of as true movement. You'll start to move from your deepest knowing. And so what is the truth of your heart is what will come out of your mouth. The truth of your heart will be what is swirling, right? When thoughts come in, the truth will, let's say, pacify those thoughts. When thoughts and conditioning and triggers come in, the truth will pacify and bring clarity. It will bring true action to allow and not resist, right? So what is being shared here could be stirring. There's actually a lot of smiles, because you see, when you're falling into grace, you feel only gratitude for that which the ego might feel criticized or challenged in, right? But there's no one watching you. There's no one who is concerned with how you live and what happens in the life. And this is where your unique unfolding, you are the only one that is watching, illuminating, feeling resistance, getting stuck, seeing what there is to see through, right? It's an inside process. And this is the grace. And you have absolute autonomy, right? If there's criticism or judgment, it's your own mind, right? These words come to bring forward possible clearer seeings, so that where the true longing is for freedom, for God, that the way can be illuminated. We're illuminating what it takes. It takes everything. It takes everything. But the everything that it takes is your willingness to offer everything, right? The taking of everything isn't that it comes in and sweeps clear, although it may feel like that. But what it takes as everything is that everything gets dismantled in the light of your own awareness shining, right? No one comes in and starts removing everything from your life. No one comes in and says, right, that relationship's got to go, your family's got to go, job, no, you're not allowed to eat this and you're not allowed to eat that, and you've got to meditate all the time. No one's telling you. No one is telling you. Love makes no demands upon you. And yet to come to love, you have to come empty, right? And so it is up to you. It's up to you as the being, as love itself, as the light, to illuminate everything that is acting as a barrier, to illuminate all of the obscurations, to have gratitude when the unconscious comes forward as a reflection that feels like a poke in the eye, right? It's to recognize that when the unconscious comes forward, it's coming forward so that you can clear that pattern in the field, because that obscuration is keeping you from what you are longing for. So love offers guidance, love offers possibilities, love offers these areas that could be illuminated. It's to make it all about love, make it all about God, all about the divine, all about truth, all about freedom, all about the mother, whatever word resonates. But it's to make it all about what you are longing for, right? And you know, if what you are longing for is not that, then wholeheartedly give yourself to the world. And so that you feel aligned in the heart, and so that you feel aligned. And I know that everyone that is here, the reason that you are here is because the longing is already alive, right? So it's just to bring an alignment, right? It's like aligning the spine, getting everything working. So there's a flow, like in the spine. This is a flow of your connection with what you're longing for. Lay yourself down. Lay yourself all the way down, right into the most profound, humble prostration to your own longing. Give everything, everything to that longing. Give everything to what you are longing for. And how do you give everything? It's about, again, you know, there's an inner authority that guides this, because it doesn't even look the same for every being. For some, it will be, you know, one thing, like very devotional. For other beings, it will be more about silence and austerity. For other beings, it will be about the beauty and just the gorgeousness, right? So it's not to create ideas. It's to know in your inner heart, the heart of being, what is in full alignment here. You can feel it, because when you are in full alignment, there's no doubt. It's unquestionable. It is to remember, okay? Remember what it feels like, a full yes, right? You know what it feels like, where something comes in and it's like, yes, 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 no question, yes, yes, right? You know that feeling. You know a full yes, okay? You know a no, kind of. No is a little bit more edgy, right? But you know a yes. Yes is so definite when it's true, when it's truth. Maybe is not yes. Maybe is no, okay? So it's to come into alignment. You know the yes. You know the full yes. If there's anything in your life that's not a full yes, shine the light on it. Shine the light. If it's a maybe, at the moment, that's a no, right? Get really, really clear. It's, you know, it's amazing how much we don't listen to our own deep inner knowing. The inner knowing, the inner voice is what's bubbling up from being. And the grace is that the inner knowing offers guidance. It offers the most profound, true guidance. This is where true movement comes from. This is where flow that moves as unencumbered life comes from, without the overlays, without the patterns and the habits and the conditioning. So, Where are you in all of this? Where are you? What are you longing for? Where are you living? Where are you putting your attention? What are you making a priority? Right? If you are living in the being, all of this is irrelevant in a certain way. If you're truly, truly living in the being, there will be nothing stirred. There will just, as these words come, there will be, chuk, chuk, you know, when you go maybe to the chiropractor, but there's, oh, everything's already in alignment, right? Can check, oh, no, everything's already in complete alignment. So if you are living in the being, as these words come, there'll be no clunks and no clicks, none of those, you know, needs to stretch that little piece out, right? Everything will just go click, 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 yep, tick, 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 tick. Everything's in alignment. Resting in the being, light is shining, light of awareness is shining on everything, scanning the landscape, everything's in alignment. Truth of the heart, pacifying any thoughts that feel a little rebellious. Voice of the heart being expressed through the human expression. So where you don't feel an alignment, this is an area just to shine the light, just to shine the light. And it's not about an interceptor coming in trying to justify, well, actually, you know, no, I think I've got that all covered. I think that, you know, yeah, you know, I kind of go in that direction, but I think that's okay because I think that's supportive. You know, again, no one is watching you. You can fool yourself, but that is where the ego is dressing up as the policeman and coming in and scanning the life and saying, oh, I've taken a look around here and everything seems to be in good order, right? Fool yourself wholeheartedly. It will come and bite you from behind at some point, that is for sure. But it's your own inner process, right? It's the inner knowing where the alignment is. So in this moment, you know, as all of these words come, there's a beauty. We're sweeping the house. We're sweeping the house as every pointing comes and every being makes a connection. We sweep it away. We're dusting and we're polishing. Sometimes we got like the power jet washer out, right? We're really having to get rid of some gnarly stuck bits. Sometimes it's just a little light dusting, right? So it's just to feel now. Now we've cleaned the house out. We've started to clean and dust. We've brought a lot of the unconscious forward, right? So as the words come and there's a noticing of something unconscious comes forward. When it comes forward, it might not be there's any action that's needed, just bringing it forward. It just comes forward. Sometimes there's a burning, sometimes just bringing it forward. It's seen. It's like, you got me, fair cop. It's gone, you know, it's just done. Okay. I'm revealed. And then it's done, right? It can be very quick and very, very painless. So right now, in this moment, now feel the being. Now be here. Now feel the stillness. So much deeper than where we started, right? Even though the guidance is different, the guidance isn't necessarily like a deep journey in consciousness, and yet on a certain level it is. It looks different, but we are journeying differently. We're clearing the obscurations. We're clearing the obscurations. And every time something is cleared, what comes in is love. What comes in is light. What comes in is the remembering, is peace, is happiness, is joy, is simplicity, right? Right here now is something so simple. And right here now, that simplicity is so much less obscured than it was when we started, because we have peeled back so many layers, and now the stillness and the simplicity and the silence of being is right here on the surface. We could even say that if your avenue is more the longing than the stillness and the silence, the longing might feel more enlivened. It might feel really fired up. Just to be here, just to be here as the being that just is, simple, open, empty, equanimous. Just to feel the simple openness of being here. We have swept out the temple of the self. We have swept out the temple of the divine heart. And now there is this beautiful, open, pristine spaciousness. And you can feel that, can feel the quality of that as your nature as the self, as the being, the pristine, clear, transparent openness of being. Now thoughts can come and they float away. There's nothing for them to get stuck to, right? The being just is. The comings and goings are just coming and going. The being is deep, deeply residing in its own nature, remembering its own nature. And in the remembering, nothing can touch it. Nothing can sully or taint the pristine spaciousness. This pristine spaciousness has always been here. But the attention wanders and starts to reside in the murky corners and starts to think, this is home, these murky, cobwebby corners. But no, we've cleared it all out. We've cleared it all out. And right now, the resting in the being, nothing can touch you here. Nothing can touch you. This is truth. This is all the protection that is needed. And it is to be here now, to feel your longing, to feel the longing as the aliveness of the heart. Feel the inner whisper of what is truly, truly longed for. What is calling you? What are you being pulled by? It is to feel this. Feel it with all that you are. Let it fill you. Let it take over. And so you can only feel it. And you cannot feel any sense of separation. Can feel only the longing, only the silence, only the knowing that this is who you are. that you are this silent being. There is a freedom here. The freedom is the boundless, boundless truth of your nature. That you are everywhere, you are nowhere, you are openness, you are equanimity. You have no edges, you have no location. And here too, the now of this moment, the immediate, spontaneous now that is this moment, the presence, the stillness is timeless. You escape time and space and find yourself in the infinite, eternal spaciousness. And this has been here all along. You have never not been this true one. Here you are as the presence. Here you are as now. And there is a knowing here. There is a knowing, and the knowing is being yourself. And this is the simplicity. This is the simplicity that is here. You see, there's no clutter. There's no clutter. True beauty is this. True wisdom is this. True devotion is this. It's all inclusive. This silence is here. The fullness is here. Wholeness is your true holy nature. It doesn't matter. It does not matter about your uniqueness here, because your uniqueness belongs. Your uniqueness finds its perfect reflection. And so in the immaculate truth of your being, the uniqueness that dances on the surface, it finds its perfect reflection and it disappears in that reflection in this moment, right? So we could say that the divine, it's this all-encompassing wholeness, and yet flows of the divine dance in unique configurations. But these unique configurations, wholeness is never left, right? And you are the divine wholeness that dances as a unique configuration. But you are not limited to that unique configuration. That unique configuration is absolutely one in wholeness with and as the divine, with and as love, with and as God. Hear the glory, hear the power, hear the truth, hear the love, hear the light. A radiant heart is shining, and it is to turn to the radiance of the heart, to meet the gaze of the radiance of your own heart. It's the true darshan, the true shaktipat, is to meet the radiance of the heart in your innermost being. Meet the radiant brilliance of your own self in the divine gaze, in a gaze that does not turn away, right? Life happens on the surface. Everything moves just as it needs to. You don't ever, ever have to leave the divine gaze. Of course, the mind cannot understand, but as you come to know this truth, this reality, you find how this is true, how you rest meeting yourself, how you rest in the divine gaze, regardless of what is happening, how you never ever leave yourself, how you stand in love, with love, as love, how you stand in God, with God, as God, how you stand in this truth and you do not leave. Yes, it is grace that brings you to this depth, but you have to be turning to grace. You have to be waiting here in the now for the winds of grace to carry you. So it is not about interpreting anything that is being spoken here. It is only about receiving the resonance of everything, even the parts that seem to be pointings and instruction, right? It's to receive only the resonance of what gets stirred, only to allow the resonance to work itself through, right? The resonance of what gets stirred is stress in the nervous system. There's a perfection. It gets stirred, it gets enlivened to be cleared. That's the grace. Where the grace brings you to remembering, then it is to receive the remembering. Yes, yes, yes. This bowing, this confirmation in the innermost being that says yes, and yes, and yes. This is what sets up the divine communion, the divine communication, right? That when you're saying yes and you're in surrender, then the divine can reach you, right? When you're giving everything, then the flow comes to match. The flow comes to match what you are giving. It comes back a gazillion fold. But the line of communication, which is surrender, which is being, has to be in place. So just being here, just being here. The silence, the simplicity, the stillness, the openness that is infinite without bounds, the timeless, eternal, now, now, now. So we discover the naturalness of the self that is always here, underneath the play on the surface of life. We come to a deeper, deeper truth. the vast open field of consciousness, the vast open field of being. It is to confirm here the knowing of who you are. And as you confirm the knowing, drink in the nectar. The knowing has an aliveness, and the aliveness is the nectar to drink in the sweetness that nourishes, and as it nourishes the divine carries you deeper into the light of truth. Mm.